Capital Development Authority operates under its standard procedures. The procedures listed below are the most frequently requested. However, this is not intended to be a complete list of operating procedures. These procedures are provided for informational purposes only. CDA reserves the right to modify or replace a posted procedure or policy at any time without notice. If you do not find any procedure here, please ask CDA. Procedure required for change of trade. Registration of contractors, firms in CDA. Contract awarding procedure. Permission to display signboard, panaflex, neon sign, etc. Property tax exemption declaration form. Life cycle of a project. 1. Requirements for change of trade. Application addressed to Director Municipal Administration, CDA Islamabad. NIC copy of allotee for NAS. Copy of allotment letter. 2. Registration of contractors, firms in CDA. Contractors, firms are registered in CDA through Directorate General Works. Following are the required documents. Application for enleasement of contractors, firms. Document for a class C1 to C5. Document for B1 class C6. Document for B class C7. Document for C class C8. Document for D class C9. For further inquiry, please contact at 51-9,215,376. 3. Contract awarding procedure. Projects are, as a first step, advertised in major newspapers of the country with the appropriate heading, depending on their nature. Tender notices and pre-qualification notices are dealt with via their respective directorates, indicated at the end of each advertisement. The projects that the PMO is responsible for have a different procedure. Depending on the nature, size, and scope of the project, an advertisement for an expression of interest is placed in the newspaper. Usually an EOI form prepared by the CDA is uploaded onto the CDA website, with prospective developers required to download the form and fill it out as necessary. This stage of the process is relatively uncomplicated and straightforward, mainly serving as an indicator to evaluators in the CDA as to the experience and expertise of prospective developers. Responses to the EOI are then evaluated, with qualified parties advancing to the request for qualification stage, where they are provided with the RFQ document, outlining specific project-related requirements which they are then required to satisfy. After prospective developers submit RFQs, they are then evaluated again, and the evaluated proposers provided with a request for proposal document. This document is very precise and detailed, requiring specific technical and financial details of the project. Finally, after the RFPs have been evaluated, one developer is chosen and a contract is entered into, depending on the nature and scope of the venture. 4. Permission to display signboard, panaflex, neon sign, etc. Application to Director MA, CDA. Download related application form here. Affidavit. Copy of NIC of the applicant. Copy of lease, rent agreement, ownership proof. 5. Property tax exemption declaration form. Exemption declaration form. Download related exemption form here. Affidavit. Copy of NIC of the applicant. Copy of lease, rent agreement, ownership proof. 6. Life cycle of a project. Depending on the nature, size, and scope of the assignment, a generic life cycle can. EOI. Evaluation. Request for qualification. Evaluation. Request for proposal award of contract. What is the city but the people? William Shakespeare. Pakistan's formation, tumultuous and full of turmoil, necessitated the formation of a new national capital. The forging of a new conscious political identity was the foremost reason, along with the fact that the existing, almost de facto, capital Karachi was already under pressure socially, politically, and economically. Karachi was not, in addition, a satisfactory solution from the points of view of climate, tradition, and the existing buildings, which were inadequate in number and not quite up to the standards required by a capital. The layout and structure of the existing port city did not allow it to take on the functions of a modern capital. On the other hand, the influx of refugees intensified the existing problems and created new ones. The solution to these problems was instituting a new capital, which could be planned, developed, and built according to the government's requirements and prerogatives. The location, after significant research and several reports on various settings for the capital, was chosen adjacent to the garrison city.